Alex Eala just did what no Filipino tennis player has ever done before. She captured a WTA 500 singles title in stunning fashion. The $252,000 prize is massive. But the real victory is what this means for a nation of 127 million. In just 1 week, the Filipina sensation demolished an Olympic gold medalist, a defending champion, a 4-time Grand Slam winner, and finally the world number 3. With a straight-sets masterclass against Jessica Pegula, Eala has cemented her place in tennis history. Is this just the beginning of the Eala dynasty? The stage was set, the tickets were sold out, and 7,000 fans packed into Rock Creek Park, the roar of the crowd echoing across the William H. G. Fitzgerald Tennis Center. But only one woman would walk away a champion. Alex Eala, the 21-year-old sensation from Quezon City, stood just one match away from the biggest title of her career. Standing across the net was Jessica Pegula, the world number 3 and top seed, a player who had won 11 WTA singles titles and reached the US Open final. The American had ended Eala's breakthrough run at the Miami Open semifinals just 18 months earlier, a match that had introduced the Filipina to the tennis world. Now they were meeting again, and this time the stakes were even higher. The match began with both players finding their rhythm. Pegula, a former US Open finalist and veteran of countless big matches, came out with the intensity of someone who had been here before. The American had won the DC Open back in 2019, and she was hunting for her second title in the nation's capital. She wanted this. She knew what it took to win. But Eala was a different player now. I think I would say if I compare myself now to then, I'm more well-rounded, she had said before the match. I think I'm physically a little better. I've improved on a couple of my strokes. I think maybe my forehand and serve also improved quite a bit. That improvement was on full display. The Filipina star had already stormed through a field of champions in Washington. She had beaten Olympic gold medalist Zheng Qinwen in the opening round. She had dethroned defending champion Leylah Fernandez in a match where she came back from 5-1 down in the second set. She had overpowered world number 10 Elena Svitolina in straight sets. And in the semifinals, she had dismantled 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka 6-4, 6-2 in just 76 minutes. Now Pegula was next. The American had edged past Diana Schneider in the other semifinal, winning 7-5, 6-4 to book her place in the title match, but she knew she was facing a player on the run of her life. It's going to be a battle, Pegula said before the final. Alex, I'm a big fan of her. She's the future of the tour, and she's already here. And what a battle it was. Eala came out firing from the very first point. Her ground strokes were finding their mark. Her movement was crisp. The top seed, who had won 11 titles, had no answers. The Filipina broke Pegula's serve early and never looked back. Every time the American tried to fight back, Eala countered with precision. The consistency that had carried her through the tournament was relentless. The final point came and the stadium erupted. The scoreboard read 6-3, 6-4. Alex Eala had done it. She had just won the biggest title of her career, her first WTA 500 title, the largest of her career. She had defeated the world's number 3 in straight sets. She had made history. The champion gets 500 ranking points and $252,000 in cash. Eala has already guaranteed a career-high ranking of world number 24. And with the title, she will climb even higher. But for Eala, the victory was about something far deeper than money or rankings. She had just done what no Filipino tennis player had ever done before. She had captured a WTA 500 singles title. She had conquered the world's best. And she had carried the hopes of 127 million Filipinos on her shoulders and never let them down. What would you do if you just made history for your country? For Alex Eala, the answer was simple. She would smile. She would cry. She would hold the trophy high and remember the little girl with ruffled socks and light-up shoes who started on a basketball court in Quezon City because she knew that this victory wasn't just hers. It belonged to everyone who had ever believed in her. The championship trophy was still warm in her hands. The confetti was still falling from the sky. But for Alex Eala, the numbers behind her victory were just as staggering as the win itself, and they would change her life forever. A victory at the Mubadala City DC Open wasn't just about the trophy. It was about the financial windfall and the ranking breakthrough that would cement her place among the sport's elite. The champion's purse of $252,000, more than 15.4 million Philippine pesos, would be the largest single paycheck of her career. By contrast, even as runner-up, she would have been guaranteed $155,000, or roughly 9.4 million pesos, still one of the biggest paydays of her professional life. But the real prize was the ranking points. The Filipina sensation entered the DC Open ranked world number 28, a career high that already made her the highest-ranked Filipino singles player in history. Her semi-final victory over Naomi Osaka had already guaranteed her a spot at number 24, with 1,931 ranking points to her name. A championship victory would add another 500 points, pushing her to a stunning number 20 in the world. That's a jump of 8 spots in a single tournament. To put it in perspective, after her historic Wimbledon run, Eala had earned 240 points and climbed to number 28. In Washington, she had already nearly matched that total before even playing the final. The title would give her more points in 1 week than she earned in an entire Grand Slam campaign. That's not just progress. That's a breakthrough. Going into this tournament, I looked at the list and it was jam-packed, Eala had said after her semi-final victory. It was big player after big player after big player. So to be in the final really means a lot to me. Now she had gone one step further. She had won it all. The $252,000 champion's check would add to a year that had already seen her become the Philippines' highest-earning athlete of all time. She had taken home $300,000 from Wimbledon and $332,160 from the Miami Open in 2025. And this year alone, her total prize money and endorsements had pushed her well past the $2 million mark. The Washington title would be the crown jewel of a season that had already included a WTA 125 title in Birmingham and a semifinal in Berlin. That sounds amazing. That sounds so surreal, Eala had said earlier in the tournament when told about her potential ranking rise. That sounds actually crazy, but I'm super proud of it. The numbers don't lie, and neither does the moment. Alex Eala has arrived. The trophy is now in her hands. The confetti has settled, but the path Eala carved through Washington will be remembered for years to come. She didn't just win a tournament. She conquered an entire field of champions. The 21-year-old from Quezon City entered the Mubadala City DC Open as the world number 28, a rising star with a growing reputation. She left it as a WTA 500 champion with a record-breaking resume. In just 1 week, she had defeated an Olympic gold medalist, a defending champion, a world number 10 twice in just over a month, a 4-time Grand Slam winner, and finally the world number 3. The run began with redemption. In the opening round, Eala faced Zheng Qinwen, the Olympic gold medalist who had broken her heart at the 2023 Asian Games. 3 years of pain, 3 years of wondering what if. But this time, Eala was a different player. She fought back from an early breakdown, winning 4 of the final 5 games to complete a gritty 4-6, 6-4, 6-1 comeback. The head-to-head record was now tied at 1-1. The demon had been exorcised. The second round was a test of mental fortitude. Standing across the net was Leylah Fernandez, the defending champion who had beaten Eala in Stuttgart just months earlier. The first set was a masterclass. Eala dominated 6-2 in just 34 minutes, but the second set nearly slipped away. Fernandez raced to a 5-1 lead, and the ghosts of Stuttgart were creeping back. But Eala refused to quit. She reeled off 5 straight games to move ahead 6-5, then closed out the tiebreak 7-1 to complete the 6-2, 7-6 victory. The defending champion was dethroned. The quarterfinal was a repeat performance. Eala faced world number 10 Elina Svitolina, the tournament's second seed. She had already beaten the veteran in Berlin just weeks earlier with the exact same scoreline. In Washington, she did it again, 6-3, 6-4, breaking Vitalina's serve 6 times in the match. "I came in with a great mindset today," Eala said afterward. "I think I was playing really well." And of course, Alina hit some good shots. She was being aggressive, especially in that second set. So I'm really happy that I was able to kind of keep my rhythm. The semifinal was history in the making. For the first time ever, an all-Asian semifinal unfolded on a WTA 500 stage. Eala faced Naomi Osaka, the 4-time Grand Slam champion and former world #1. The tennis world was divided, power versus patience, but Eala made it look easy. She won 6-4, 6-2 in just 76 minutes, breaking Osaka's serve 4 times and winning 71% of her first serve points. "It's such an honor to share the court with her," Eala said. "But I think it's just the way I approached today's match. I could never count her out. I had to be so locked in." The final was the crowning achievement. Jessica Pegula, the world #3 and top seed, was the last obstacle. The American had ended Eala's breakthrough run at the 2025 Miami Open in a tight 3-set battle, 7-6, 5-7, 6-3. But this time, Eala was ready. She broke Pegula's serve early and never looked back. The final score read 6-3, 6-4. The champion was crowned. The numbers tell the story of a champion. Eala had earned 500 ranking points and $252,000, pushing her into the WTA top 20 for the first time in her career. In 1 week, she had defeated 5 opponents with a combined 10 Grand Slam titles between them. She had beaten 2 top 10 players and the world #3. What would you do if you conquered a field of champions in just 1 week? For Alex Eala, the answer was simple. She would hold the trophy high and remember the little girl with ruffled socks and light-up shoes who started on a basketball court in Quezon City, because she knew that this victory wasn't just hers. It belonged to everyone who had ever believed in her. The final point was played. The trophy was raised. And 10,000 miles away, an entire nation erupted. Alex Eala had just given the Philippines something it had never experienced before, a WTA singles champion. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., who had already honored Eala after her historic Wimbledon run, was among the first to celebrate. "You have brought so much pride to the Philippines, to the Filipinos, and not only because of your success, but also because of the grace with which you handled that success," he had said during her Malacaning reception just weeks earlier. Now those words carried even more weight. "The way you play and the way you comport yourself makes us proud, because you show the greatest, best qualities of Filipinos. So you remind us why we are a great race." Those weren't just words of encouragement. They were a recognition of something far bigger than tennis. Eala had become the embodiment of Filipino resilience, determination, and grace on the world stage. Across the Philippines, celebrations erupted. From the streets of Quezon City, where Eala's journey began on basketball courts with painted tennis lines, to the packed watch parties in Manila's sports bars, Filipinos poured into the streets. Social media exploded with congratulations. Eala-mania trended for hours. The nation had found a new hero, and they weren't going to let the moment pass. "I'm so proud to be Pinoy," Eala had said during her homecoming after Wimbledon. "I think that's one thing that I share with everybody, the love of being Pinoy and the pride of being Pinoy. So I do my best to showcase that." Now she had done more than showcase it. She had cemented it in history. The victory was especially significant for the global Filipino diaspora. From healthcare workers in the United States to domestic workers in the Middle East, Filipinos around the world had stayed up late, adjusted their schedules, and rearranged their lives to watch Eala's matches. Marcos himself had acknowledged this, noting that hospitals around the world paused when Eala played. "When you feel this much love, it's hard to get used to," Eala had said after her semi-final victory. "It always brings a new sentiment, always brings a new type of feeling." The feeling in the Philippines was one of collective pride. Eala had been called a nation unifier by fans and media alike. While she brushed off the label, saying she was just happy to have a positive impact on the community, the impact was undeniable. She had brought together a country of over 127 million people, united by a shared dream of seeing one of their own succeed on the world's biggest stages. And now that dream had become a reality. As the confetti settled in Washington, Filipinos everywhere were already looking ahead. The US Open awaited. The North American hardcourt swing continued. And Ella, the girl with ruffled socks and light-up shoes, was just getting started. The confetti has settled. The trophy is in her hands. And 10,000 miles away, an entire nation is still celebrating. But for Alex Eala, the victory is about more than just a title. It's about the journey that brought her here. The little girl who started on a basketball court in Quezon City with ruffled socks and light-up shoes, training every day with her grandfather and her brother, had just done what no Filipino tennis player had ever done before. She had captured a WTA 500 singles title. She had conquered the world's best. And she had carried the hopes of 127 million Filipinos on her shoulders and never let them down. I still have so much motivation to become a better player, become a better person, Ella had said after her semi-final victory, her voice carrying the weight of everything she had accomplished. I'm 21, so it's not like I'm the queen of the world or anything. But to the Philippines, she is exactly that. The victory over Jessica Pegula, the world number 3 and top seed, was the crowning achievement of a week that had already included victories over an Olympic gold medalist, a defending champion, a world number 10, and a 4-time Grand Slam winner. It was a run that will be remembered for generations. I think I would say if I compare myself now to then, I'm more well-rounded, Ella had said before the final, reflecting on her growth since her first meeting with Pegula at the 2025 Miami Open. I think I'm physically a little better. I've improved on a couple of my strokes. She had proven exactly how much she had improved. The final score reads 6-3, 6-4, a statement victory that left no doubt about who was the better player on this day. Osaka, the 4-time Grand Slam champion, had already recognized the greatness she was witnessing. After her own loss to Ella in the semifinals, she had said, "She's incredible. I think she's a star, and it's just really cool to have someone like her that I guess people can look up to. And for me, I think it's amazing that she's such an inspiration. That inspiration is what will carry Ella forward. I'm really grateful for everyone who supports me," she said earlier in the tournament. "They're the reason I have this platform at the end of the day, and it just adds to how meaningful my job is to me. The $252,000 Champions Prize is life-changing. The 500 ranking points that vaulted her into the WTA Top 20 are career-defining.